Now, one thing I want to is that in this age and time, tech careers cannot fail you. Anything you do in tech, okay, because we live at a time when technology is taking over. Okay, technology is taking over. And so, irrespective of your background, and many of you can already testify, right, that technology is even affecting your job at the moment. Okay, that means that you need to be technologically, empowered, technologically skilled, even to succeed in your non-tech jobs. Many of are here today. I was in this particular situation some years back, and I was hearing all kinds of terminologies, and they sounded so strange. But one thing that helped me was a curious mind. And, the ability to always focus on the benefits. In fact, anything that's not going to benefit you, do not pursue it. You know what I mean? Because like anything that's not going to benefit you, as in take your life forward, maybe by learning a new skill, okay, switching careers, getting a new job, improving your financial situation, expanding your opportunities, anything that is not leading you in this direction, is not benefiting you, then it's not worth it. But I found this program years ago, I joined it, and I can tell you, this is one program I joined from a completely non-tech background. I came from business administration some years ago and joined this program. And I won't lie you. Okay. When I got my first job in 2019, okay, this is, I think, I'm going to share the offer later. When I got the offer that from a company here called Post Media, $125,000 a year. At first, I was like, is this real? And then, as the onboarding started, I got my computer, I got my laptop, got details to log into the environment and everything. And then I began working. And then when the first paycheck came, then I understood that, truly speaking, education is not scam. Anything that empowers you and creates opportunities for you cannot be a scam and it cannot fail you. The only thing that you need to do is to master it. Not just to master it, but to commit yourself to it. Spirit, soul, and body, and resources as well. You have to be committed. Because even the Bible says about that, where a man's treasure is buried, there is his mind, right? That's just it. Like if you have your investment, let's say you have your investment somewhere in Afghanistan, right? I mean, you want to be up to date with what is happening in Afghanistan. Why? Because you have your investments there, right? So this program, I can tell you that it cannot fail you, and you are getting into, you know, a career that is very practical. Okay. For example, almost all the applications that we use today, right? Think about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, right? They all go through what we call the software development life cycle. So what you're learning about this program in very or I put it like, if you want to summarize this in one sentence, is learning how these applications come to be. What is the process behind it? right? Above all, who are the stakeholders? Okay, what are the stakeholders and what happens behind the scene? And that's what you're going to come to learn as, back end and front end. And one of the ways that I explain back end and front end operations is if you go to the bank, right? Very simple example. Let's say you walk into the bank. What do you see at the paying desk, right? You meet what? You meet cashiers. But if you present a check, let's say you want to deposit a check of, you know, 1 million naira or 5 million naira, but you don't have that history of such deposit, what happens? The cashier takes the check and goes into an office. Say, hey, you know what? Wait here. I have to go see my manager. Okay. So therefore what? That is the back end operation. Now, of course, the manager is going to run some other operations there to validate the check and to decide on the next steps. So this is what happens with all applications, right? It goes through what we call the software development life cycle. So this is what you are about to learn. And so the skills that you are about to acquire here is not just about you being able, to acquire a job or to get employed upon graduation or upon completion. The goal is to empower yourself to a point where you can conceive project. You can become a software consultant. So let's say somebody has everything that it takes, right, and wants to build an application. You can what, you can oversee that project from end to end. Why? Because of the skills that you have acquired here. Okay. So when you hear about the term DevOps, Dev means what? Development, operations. OPS means operations. So it's like just bringing together everybody who are responsible to building and deploying the application. So this is what you are about to learn, right? Whether you like it or not. One of the things that makes DevOps very different from every other software development approaches and methodologies is that the focus is on automation. And so even as I'm talking now, right, if you just search on Google, okay, DevOps jobs, let's say if you are in UAE, for example, right, let's say you are in Dubai, just what, search DevOps jobs in Dubai or DevOps jobs in Nigeria or DevOps what, jobs in Lagos or Abuja. Then of course what? Then of course you are going to be able to read the introductions, read the descriptions, and of course what? Read, you know, what DevOps engineers do. Why is that they are in high demand? Okay, so that is so important. How about the other aspect, cloud computing? If you are here and let's say you save pictures in your Google Photos, right? That's a cloud service you are using. And let's say you also save your contacts, okay, in the cloud as opposed to saving the contacts on your phone. That is a cloud service. So, of course, one term that you are going to learn in tech, right, is what we call disaster recovery. Now, cloud computing offers companies disaster recovery services. And why is this important? So let me quote a very simple example, right? How you can explain disaster recovery in your own words. Let me ask you a question. If you're in Cameroon, for example, for most of you who are using data, right? So in Cameroon, you have three major, communication providers, or like you can say data providers. So you can either get what data from, is it MTN? Yeah, MTN. You can either get it from where, from Orange, right, or from Camtel. Now, an average person in Cameroon has at least three SIMs, right? And so if I ask someone like, hey, Israel, why do you have three SIMs, right? You say, yeah, what if MTN, like what? Okay, there are times that MTN is slow, right? And what? Switch to Orange. Okay. And you can say, there are times that, Orange is slow and I want to be able to switch to, okay, to Google. I mean, okay, to Camtel. Therefore, what? That's what? That is disaster recovery. So one of the things that one of the reasons why they move to the cloud is, to be able to quickly recover when something goes wrong, right? And so we are going to talk about that a lot. So this is why this career you cannot ignore it because this is your golden meal for 2026. You truly really want to be part of this, build a career in DevOps, cloud computing, and cybersecurity. So let's talk about what this is all about. Okay.